Hello and welcome to another edition of The Big Question with me, Ian Pelham Turner. Today I have one of my greatest friends here this afternoon, Jolieanna Davis. Welcome, Jolieanna.
Oh, thank you, Ian. One of your greatest friends.
One of my greatest friends.
That's lovely.
And you're off to China. China's a very long way away.
It's becoming a little bit of a habit. It will be my third time in association with the Mrs. Globe organisation. Okay. I'm very excited to be returning.
So tell me a lot about this now. So, and I know that during the Mrs. Globe this year in China, your song, which we can't talk about yet, we can talk about but we can't hear it yet, yes, for reasons, is going to be heard to millions of people. So tell me all about this.
Well, I have been invited to create a song, a theme tune, you could say, for the Mrs. Globe organisation that I'm very proudly going to be debuting on stage in Shenzhen this December in a few very short weeks. And the song is very uplifting. It's created with my background knowledge and experiences of the positivity that can be gained through pageantry. So the song is very affectionately entitled Dream Bigger, and there's a huge focus on just encouraging ladies to be the best version of themselves, but also the true version of themselves. And it sort of said, you know, now's your time to shine. There's some lyrics in the song that are quite pageant specific. It talks about claiming your prize, but that's also more of a metaphor that can be used in other walks of life, and really it's just saying, take your time in the spotlight, be your true self, and take your reward, your reward for just being enough. You are enough, and whatever form that takes. As a female, we're all individual, and we're enough, and come and claim that, come and own that, come and own your personality.
What are the values that a Mrs. Globe competitor should have?
Well, there's a lot. I mean, to me, the main thing that I love about the Mrs. Globe organisation is the sisterhood and the mentorship. And I think a quality that any Mrs. Globe contestant should possess is just really to embrace that, to embrace the sisterhood, to learn from each other, to celebrate each other's successes. And there's a very poignant, a very emotional, or something that I really linked into. There was an interview recently by the owner of Mrs. Globe, Dr. Tracy Campbell, and she spoke about her hopes and her wishes, her desires for the ladies that, because obviously there's only one winner, and she spoke about it all being part of your journey and all part of your path, and if you don't win, it's because there's something else planned for you. And that's very true for me. I attended Mrs. Globe 2 years ago as a contestant, and I didn't win. But here I am 2 years later, and I'm embraced into this sisterhood and this organisation, and I'm taking part. I'm writing this theme tune, and I'm performing it to an audience of millions across China and across the world.
So what's the criteria to become a competitor in the first place? What do they actually have to be able to do?
Well, first of all, because this is a Mrs. pageant, so it's slightly different to what we most commonly know as a pageant that would be, for the Miss division, which usually has a cut-off in terms of age. So that doesn't apply. This is more for married ladies with children, ladies with some life experience, some adversity that they've overcome, and all of the contestants that represent Mrs. Globe in their respective countries, they're often influencers, ambassadors, all of these wonderful things. They're role models, and they've got this substance behind them. But in terms of how you get to be on this fabulous stage in China, and again, I don't just mean the real stage with the spotlights, I mean metaphorically, this platform that it gives, to actually get there, in over 70 countries in the world, there is a qualifying competition. And all of the same qualities that we spoke for, there's a competition in that country that's looking for that lady, that representative of their country, to showcase tourism, to showcase what's special and unique about the country, and what's special and unique about them as contestants.
So, and I know that there's talk about being in Mrs. Globe to Britain next year. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, yes. So I'm very, very excited to bring in this passion that I have for Mrs. Globe more into the limelight in the UK. So moving forward next year in partnership with my sister, actually, we're going to be introducing Mrs. UK to England. We'll be looking to find representatives to represent England, Scotland and Wales, and they'll be taking to the stage next year in China.
So how do you become a winner?
Well, they say that you don't become a winner. You are already the winner. You just don't know it yet. Everything is aligned for you to take your rightful place as that winner. And so no, you don't become it. You just simply possess it, and you just simply have to align yourself or accept that you can be this brand ambassador or this ambassador for your country.
So what type of characteristics would judges be looking for to actually choose the winner?
They're looking for compassion, dignity, self-awareness. They're looking, of course, for grace. And Mrs. Globe does attract the most beautiful ladies, both inside and out. You know, they possess this durability and flexibility to handle everything that comes their way in life, to speak to people from all cultures, and to help in some way, whether that be a small way or or a way on a national stage.
And I know you've had a personal tragedy with your mother dying,
Yes.
and that you're starting a foundation or a charity in her memory to look at how certain products are maybe causing cancers as well. Can you talk to me a little bit about this?
Of course. So this is, I guess, what you would describe as my platform, or what I want to come of this personally. And if I rewind just slightly, how we spoke about you don't become this person, you are already this person. I think I've always been a singer. That's what I am, and that's who I am. But I've pushed it away somehow. I've conformed to real life. I've concentrated on business ventures, and I consider myself, pretty respected and established businesswoman. And I've hid this passion. And the supporter, the real cheerleader that I had in life that wanted me to bring this to the forefront was my mother. And everything that I did associated with performing, she was there right by my side. Along, of course, with my father, who was my inspiration. My mother was my cheerleader.
And your father is here
my
today
father
as well.
Is here, yes,
as always.
Yes,
the great football player.
Footballer.
And he's an Olympic champion, he was telling me as well.
Exactly. So he was very much my inspiration, and my mother cheered me on. And she wanted me to be a singer, and I did too, but I suppressed it. And when I lost her, I sort of regressed from everything in life. And I lost her quite tragically through exposure to asbestos, which always makes a loss more hard to deal with when it's preventable.
Of course.
And of course, exposure to asbestos
Yes.
is quite preventable. And my way of dealing with the loss was believing that she's still here, believing that she's still around us.
Yes.
And without going into too much detail, I didn't speak to anybody about this, but the owner of Mrs. Globe, Tracy Campbell, I attended one of her events for the Women in Need Foundation, which is a conference that helps women refine themselves. And I've been having these dreams about my mother, and Tracy Campbell spoke to me the exact same words that my mother said.
Yes.
And it encouraged me to get back on the microphone. It encouraged me to write this song. And then Tracy Campbell invited me to perform in China. And
Yes.
that's where we are. And
So it's tied very nicely together. I mean, obviously, we go out to a large East European audience as well. What do you think women are seeking today in the way of success for themselves?
I think for a long time, women have not known in modern times how to deal with their femininity. And I've experienced this myself in a professional career. You don't want to dress too sexy, too provocative. You don't want to be perceived as only succeeding because of the way you look, or you don't want to, there's all these sort of things that you're worried of. And for a very long time, I used to go to work in a professional arena. I have a background in residential property and investments. And for a very long time, I refused to go to work in without makeup, sorry. I would go to work makeup free, hair back. And that's not because I wanted to, it was because I wanted to be taken seriously.
Right.
And I think that's wrong. I think we should be able to embrace
Absolutely.
who we are and what we are. And if we want to go to work in a pair of stiletto shoes and a sequin top, we should be able to do that.
Absolutely.
Equally, if
men don't think.
Yeah, if we're a different type of lady and we don't want to do that, we want to dress conservatively, then that's fine as well. But I think the point is, we should be able to be who we want to be. And I think that's a battle that women are still having in a lot of walks of life.
So just coming back to what might be happening in Britain next year, what's your thought process? Have you decided on a time next year when it might happen if things go well?
Well, time is very much governed by the fact that the international final of Mrs. Globe is in late November, early December every year.
Okay.
So by that point, with enough time for the chosen lady, of course, to prepare for that mentally, physically, it's very much governed that we'll be needing to select our representative by sort of late summer.
Okay, great stuff. So finally, what advice today would you give your, say, teenage self about how to motivate for life?
I think just acceptance. So, I say self-acceptance, but it's not just accepting who you are yourself. It's being brave enough to ask the world to accept who you are. And I think that's really key. If anyone could be themselves in their bedroom or with their close friends and family, but just to have the inner confidence to not pretend, not conform, and be true self.
Jolieanna, as always, she's been one of my greatest friends, and we met a couple of years ago on beauty pageants, and it was the most fabulous friendship that we've had ever since. So thank you so much for coming today. Good luck in the future, and I hope ALB UK Television can actually help you as well along the way. So it's another great big question conversation that I've had with Jolieanna today, and I think it's a great opportunity for women in Britain, including Albanian women, to actually come in and participate in this competition next year. It has great value indeed. So from me, Ian Pelham Turner, and from Jolieanna Davies, it's goodbye for now, and thank you for watching.